Now we return to local news with Janet.
A pub that was shut down earlier this year after the landlord failed to pay the electricity bill has reopened. The Hot Poles at the junction of Lancaster Road and Baker Street has officially reopened under new management, ending 4 months of boarded-up windows and locked doors. It closed suddenly in May, 5 months after the nearby Hollybush on the corner of Lancaster Road and Chase Size called Last Orders. A spokeswoman for Star Pubs and Bars, which manages the Hot Poles, said, "We're delighted to confirm that the Hot Poles is reopening under the stewardship of a dynamic pub operator." She added, "Management were excited at the prospect of a major refurbishment in the new year."
Enfield town boss Bradley Quinton admitted his side's 1-1 draw at Eastbourne Borough in the FA Cup on Saturday felt like a loss after the Towners came close to causing an upset. Enfield went into the second qualifying round clash against the Conference South opposition as big underdogs, but produced an excellent showing as they took the lead. But a missed penalty proved costly as the hosts equalised to force a replay. Quinton, whose side will travel to either Romford or Kingstonian if they get through, said, "In a way, it feels like a loss. We played really well and full credit to the lads, but we missed a penalty and straight away at Eastbourne went up the other end and scored themselves. We just feel gutted with how the result was in the end. It just feels like a defeat after how well we've played, because not many people would have given us a chance going into the tie." Enfield came out with real purpose, and Neil Cousins, on his return from injury, had an early chance, but homekeeper Lewis Carey kept him at bay. The Towners showed no nerves and opened the scoring deservedly in the 53rd minute. Michael Carew sent in a cross which was headed home by Cousins. Quinton said, "I was really pleased with Neil Cousins after coming back from injury. I know what he can do, and he's a real asset for the club. He's been out with a calf and Achilles injury, but seemed fine during the game." Enfield had a golden opportunity to double the lead when Corey Whitley was brought down in the area. The visitors were surprised to see Simpemba stay on the pitch, and their frustration was compounded when Whitley's spot kick was kicked out by the excellent Carey. This proved to be the turning point, as Eastbourne were understandably lifted and awarded a penalty themselves after Darren Locke was brought down. The home side took full advantage of this as teenage substitute Ryan Worrell fired home the equaliser. Quinton, whose side played their cup replay last night Tuesday, said all the way through the team there were very good performances, so I couldn't single anyone out. The performance was on a par with the win at Hendon in my first game in charge. It's down to them to play like that all the time. When we put in the work rate, then our ability shines through, and it just shows what we're capable of. Enfield returned to action in the league this weekend when they entertain high-flying Grays Athletic. Quinton said, "Grays have done well this season, but we're not worried about our opponents. We know that if we can put in the work rate, then we can cause most teams problems. I feel we are in a forced position in the league, and the lads are buzzing at the moment after the way we played on Saturday."
Police are appealing for help to catch a man who stole possessions from a home while his accomplice distracted the unsuspecting victim. A man, likely to be aged in his 30s, is wanted in conjunction with the burglary after apparently distracting the victim while his accomplice stole some of their belongings. Police believe that one of the con men knocked on the door of the victim's house in Waterfall Road, Southgate, claiming to be a workman. He explained that his colleagues had caused some damage to the victim's fence during work that they had been carrying out. However, the victim told the police that they did not have any workers at that time. While the puzzled victim went to examine the fence, it's believed that a second suspect entered the house and stole several possessions. It later emerged that the fence was not damaged at all. The first suspect left the house on foot and was last seen turning right into Chandos Road. He is described as a white man, aged about 35, with blonde bushy hair. He is 6 foot tall and of medium build. He was wearing a white shirt and dark-coloured trousers and was carrying a clipboard, paper and pen. A police spokesman issued the following advice on bogus callers. Officers recommend that householders always ask callers for proof of identity. Genuine tradesmen should carry an identification card with their photograph on. Check this carefully. If you are unsure, telephone the company the caller claims to represent. Anyone with information on the Waterfall Road robbery is asked to contact Enfield CID on 020 8345 4469 or on 101. And there's a reference to quote here, 5220743/14. If you would prefer to remain anonymous, call Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111.
The first stage of the council's plan to extend a primary school to make room for 150 new pupils is under consultation. Enfield Council won planning permission last January to extend Grange Park Primary School in World's End Lane, Winchmore Hill, in time for the September 2018 intake. But in order to go ahead with the works, the council needs to radically alter transport links, and proposals for ease of access around the school are up for consultation. The council is asking residents to provide feedback on plans to increase the width of crossings and the capacity of the existing Pelican crossing opposite the school entrance, and to introduce a new zebra crossing in World's End Lane, north of Tresillian Avenue. However, the chairwoman of a lobby group campaigning for local schools for local children is concerned that these expansion plans will not be enough to solve the school places crisis. This school is very near Eversley Primary, and I know there are other schools in the area. It is all the way over in Winchmore Hill, and will do very little to help the parents and children who live in the Fox Lane Black Hole, who have been turned down for every local school they apply to. However, in the introduction to the consultation, officers state the council has a legal duty to ensure that every child resident in the borough has a school place. The increasing demand for primary school places in this area has led to the recent proposal to increase the size of the school to cater for an additional 150 pupils by 2018, making a total of 840 pupils. The closing date for people to give their views on the consultation that focuses on traffic flow in the neighbourhood of the school is October the 17th at 5 p.m.
A community centre is glowing with pride after it was commended at an awards ceremony. Unity Hub at Craig Park in Edmonton was recognised by the Architects Journal in the Civic and Community category for its unique design. The award recognises the way the original structure of the old Craig Park Youth Centre has been merged with the new block. The centre gives people the chance to make friends, learn new skills, gain qualifications, and take part in activities. It includes a media suite, a recording studio, a climbing cave, a gym and dance studio, and outdoor sports facilities. Councillor Robino Simbodial said, "This award, produced by the Architects Journal, is particularly pleasing because this is a leading national architectural magazine. It is a much-coveted seal of approval and really encouraging. A My Place grant from the government of £3.5 million helped develop the centre in 2009.
A primary school officially opened its new buildings as part of a multi-million-pound redevelopment. Chesterfield Primary School in Chesterfield Road, Enfield Lock, launched its new Year 6 classroom and sports facilities recently. The school, which has 900 pupils, has also transformed a former outdoor Victorian classroom into a special needs centre. Executive head teacher Sarah Turner said, "We're thrilled with the extra facilities and the fresh new look of the school. Our children are thrilled with the improvements and are really enjoying the spaces. A team of young school ambassadors are proud to be taking our visitors on a tour of the school." Councillor Ifa Orhan, Enfield Borough Council's Cabinet Member for Education, Children's Services and Protection, said, "The new facilities have created excellent conditions for teaching and learning for both staff and pupils. Every borough in London is facing significant pressure on primary school places, and we've been working incredibly hard with the schools in Enfield to meet the significant need for primary school places in the borough. Our school expansion programme of more than £110 million will provide more new places for children in the areas in which they are most needed by 2018. The new facilities will make a huge difference to Chesterfield's 900 pupils and staff who have been managing in temporary classrooms. We can see that pupils are already making the most of the new learning environment, and I am pleased that the Council has been able to make a great improvement to school life at Chesterfield."
Crisis talks have been held between owners of a temple and its neighbours in a bid to ease animosity between them. The Nagapushani Ambul Tamil Temple in Church Lane, Edmonton, moved into the building 11 years ago, and permission has now been granted for the owners to redevelop the site starting next month. However, those who live in nearby streets are furious about noise and car parking problems the temple has caused since it opened. At a community action partnership for Enfield, meetings at Latimer All Saints School Church in Church Street, they vented their frustration. Neighbours called for the temple to find a new site to cope with its growing demand, and Shav Navaratam from the temple revealed it had looked for alternative premises in 2012. He said, "It is true that we've had a long, deep look for an alternative location. We are equally concerned that we should not upset our neighbours." Rachel Romeo of Latimer Road told the meeting that people from the temple had been using a private alleyway without authorisation. MP for Edmonton Andy Love attended the meeting and told both sides there needed to be goodwill to move forward. He said, "We need a small group from both sides to come together. Someone needs to collate all the concerns of the residents and go to the temple along with the council planning officers. The temple needs to put more in to satisfy the local community and recognise the limitation of numbers that can be accommodated at your facility. To do more on the parking situation in Church Road might be the spark that brings both sides together." Many complained that worshippers using the temple had parked across their driveways and that there was noise until the early hours, much later than the temple's authorised closing time. Councillor George Sava, who represents Hazelbury, told the meeting he had been approached by the temple to look for alternative locations, but the decisions were made to stay in Church Lane. He added, "We need to understand each other's position." Suggestions were made that a shuttle bus service from Edmonton Green Shopping Centre should be created for temple goers to help ease the parking problem. Eddie Fraser of St John's Road concluded the meeting. He said, "No one knew in 2003 that this was coming. It was brought very quietly. Although we are sitting here on opposite sides, at no point have we stopped you from going to the... We have accommodated you and we have been good neighbours. You have not been hostile to us, but the things that you are doing have impacted on our lives very much so. We have never raised any obnoxious voices to you, but we have a job to do here. We need to decide on a point of commencement."
Football pitches in Enfield will be independently assessed following concerns from teams they are not fit for purpose. Last week, the Independent reported that teams in the Cheshunt Youth Football League were considering a day of protest, claiming many pitches owned by Enfield Borough Council are unsafe. Those who wish to play on council pitches are charged £1,570 a season, with junior pitches priced at £728. The council strongly disputes its pitches are unsafe, but has now written to each club announcing it has commissioned an assessment of every pitch it owns. Seen by this newspaper, the letter reads, "Following some recent concerns about the quality of our pitches, we have commissioned an independent pitch assessment of every football pitch in the borough. They will be delivered with the support of the Football Association and will help our continued efforts to improve our services. The League estimates that more than 2,000 children play on local authority pitches each season, and some teams have been forced to postpone matches on safety grounds." Alf Fajardo, Development Officer for the League, said, "This is a knee-jerk reaction to the spotlight that has finally been placed on those pitches. This is a complete change from the Council's previous denial that the pitches are not safe. We have not even hit the winter months, and that is when the pitches are at their worst."
Enfield North MP Nick Du Bois says he was targeted by the same sting operation that brought down a government minister. Brooks Newmark, the former Minister for Civil Society, resigned following a story by a Sunday newspaper in which a journalist posing as a female Tory activist exchanged flirtatious messages with him, culminating in an explicit photograph of him wearing pyjamas. The same journalist targeted Mr Du Bois by sending him a tweet praising his success in securing a knife crime bill. The fake account, under the fictional name Sophie Whittams, tweeted, "Well done, Nick Du Bois, on his knife crime amendment. A great Tory policy. Well done." She signed off the tweet with a smiley face, but he did not respond. Mr Newmark, on the other hand, fell for the flirtatious tone of the messages. Mr Du Bois said that Mr Newmark was right to resign because his judgment had been flawed. However, he said the case did raise wider questions about press ethics. Brooks Newmark was a very foolish man, he said. The issue is his judgment. His judgment was flawed, therefore he was right to resign. However, when I voted against my own government's wishes in defence of press freedom, I was not voting for the right to press entrapment.
The derelict site of a pub that was destroyed during the Blitz with the loss of many lives is to be turned into a memorial garden. At least 17 people died when a bomb struck the True Brewers on the corner of South Street and High Street, Ponders End, near the arms factories that line the River Lee in September 1940. A group of about 20 men had been meeting in the pub, and when the siren sounded, they rushed down to the basement. But the bomb ripped through the building, killing all but one of them. Firefighters who rushed to the scene pulled 17 bodies from the rubble. They freed another man who had lost his legs in the blast, but the other men were never found. Now, as a memorial to those who died, the council is pouring a portion of the £1.9 million pot of money secured from the Mayor of London's Outer Regeneration Fund for a suitable tribute. The memorial garden was chosen by residents after they were invited to vote for different ideas about how the best use of the derelict site. The garden was the most popular suggestion by far, winning more than 50% of the votes. Blitz survivor Cliff Short, 89, who lived in the area at the time of the devastating attack, was on the scene moments after in his role as a messenger boy for the London Fire Brigade. On the night in September 1940, we were in the fire station when the sirens went off and we rushed outside to see what we could do. We soon realised that a bomb had dropped on the Two Brewers. We hurtled down there with our gear to see how we could help. Today it's such a pity because people leave their rubbish there, not realising that it means something to a lot of people. A memorial to those who lost their lives that night will remind people of the historic significance of the site.
An inspirational matron admitted she was still in a dream after collecting a national award from Prince Harry. Bernadette O'Gorman of Baker Street, Enfield, scooped the Above and Beyond Award at the Well Child 2014 Awards in London. Ms O'Gorman spoke with Prince Harry after collecting the award for her work with sick children at Whittington Health, which covers Haringey, Islington and Camden. Speaking about her award, Miss O'Gorman said, "I was completely overwhelmed when I was told I had been successful in my nomination. The award reflects how far our team has come since we started 11 years ago." The matron, known as Bernie, helped set up the Life Force team that helps sick children at their home or in hospital, giving extra support to families. The winner added, "I still can't believe it. This is certainly the pinnacle of my career, and I feel like I am in a dream." Describing her meeting with Prince Harry, Ms O'Gorman revealed that he told her all teams need a good leader. She admitted she attempted to give the Prince the mobile numbers of all the workers at the group. Ms O'Gorman was nominated by Well Child nurse Diane Miles, who had been with the team since earlier this year. She said, "Bernie shows compassionate care to the families. She will always go the extra mile to assist and support families. As team leader, she is approachable, supportive, caring, and leads by example." Prince Harry said, "I am hugely humbled to be patron of Well Child, and I count myself incredibly lucky to be patron, as well as to come down here this evening. It's a privilege for me to be able to hear all these stories on what, once again, is a fantastic year for Well Child."
Former Chelsea and Leeds footballer Michael Dewberry was put through his paces as he returned to his old school to open a new gym. The former Premier League defender returned to Enfield Grammar School in Marketplace, Enfield, where he started as a pupil in 1987, to open the new facilities. The new fitness centre is the second major redevelopment of the school's sporting facilities after it opened a new sports hall on May the 13th, 2014. Mr Dewberry told the Enfield Independent the facilities were better than those at some football clubs. He said, "The students here don't know how lucky they are to have this amazing facility. Some football league teams don't have this type of equipment. I am very honoured to return to my former school and help open this new gym. A lot has changed since my days here, and what they have produced is fantastic." After showing off his skills to the pupils, Mr Dewberry opened the new gym before taking part in a cycling test. The gym will be run by the school during the day, but will also be managed by Nuffield Health, which has overseen the £250,000 renovation. Head teacher John Kerr said, "We're proud and privileged to be working in partnership with Nuffield Health. This is an exciting new venture for us. Working together to improve the health, fitness and personal well-being of our students and members of the local community in Enfield is vitally important. This splendid new facility will give everyone the opportunity to enjoy keeping fit in a great environment." The headmaster also revealed that more than 50 people from the community have signed up to join the gym. Chris Kaufman, Business Development Director at Nuffield Health, said, "We're extremely pleased to be working with John Kerr and the team at Enfield Grammar School. The school is providing an invaluable service to its students and residents through its sports and fitness centre. This is a great opportunity for students to prosper physically and academically, and we are confident that our expertise will help teachers to promote practical and engaging curriculum learning and enhance the service currently provided. The school has also received planning permission to install an artificial football pitch with floodlights and a pavilion, and will be available by January 2015.
Tottenham Hotspur legend Leslie King officially opened a new cancer support centre at North Middlesex Hospital. The former club captain cut a green ribbon to open the Macmillan Centre Information and Support Centre at the hospital in Stirling Way, Edmonton. Cancer patients at the hospital and from the surrounding area can now use the services. Speaking after the launch, the former England defender said, "Raising awareness on the signs and symptoms of cancer is important to the club, and together with Get to Know Cancer, we're helping to spread the message that cancer can be treatable, even beatable, if caught early." I've enjoyed meeting the patients here today and finding out about the support the centre offered. I've learnt today that having something as simple as a person to talk to can help people cope. The service will help people affected by cancer and provide a listening ear to patients, their families and friends. Information and Support Centre Manager Gillian Constance, a former Macmillan cancer nurse, said, "It's good to talk. If you have cancer or know someone who does, having someone who understands the disease and what you're going through is enormous help. Often questions come to mind after you've left the consulting room. We have the time, listening skills and information you need here at the centre. Whether you're worried about a loved one who's been diagnosed, have recently been diagnosed yourself, or just looking for information, we are here to assist and support you. No one should have to face cancer alone."
Edmonton MP Andy Love believes people's health is at risk after revealing that 12 GP surgeries have closed in 4 years. The MP also learned that only one new GP practice has opened in the Enfield Clinical Commissioning Group area since 2010. During parliamentary questions, figures were revealed showing the average GP practice list size within the Enfield CCG has increased by more than 1,000 patients from 4,775 in 2009 to 5,798 in 2013. An annual report by NHS England illustrated that almost 15% of people in Enfield who tried to book a GP appointment over the past 12 months had to wait a week or more, amounting to 46,000 patients facing an unacceptable delay. Mr. Love said, with GP surgeries closing, practice list sizes increasing and appointment waits growing, it is clear that the government's cuts to our health service have resulted in reduced provision in Enfield. We need investment in new GP practices to reverse the closures of recent years, and we need the government to reinstate the guarantee to see a GP within 48 hours. Without that, we risk putting people's health at risk.
We've reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So from the team of Janet, Colin and Keith and Robin and Jason on the controls, it's
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet, put the cassette into the packet and return it to us as soon as possible in readiness for the next edition. Don't forget you can call Diane de Jersey regarding any help you may require in connection with Enfield Talking Newspaper. The Enfield Talking Newspaper will be with you again in 1 week's time.